Can you help us understand how women and men can increase their libido and increase their success in the bedroom?
Yeah, it's a great topic. And, since you're listing out all those wonderful products and all those benefits, I made a few notes of some of the benefits of fasting for your libido. When you fast, if you're particularly for men, it's a huge testosterone booster because it produces growth hormone, and this is measurable. Literally, various things can pump up your testosterone. You also talked about belly fat, which is another reason for particularly for men to fast, because belly fat produces estrogen, and estrogen lowers testosterone. This is you can almost see a man's testosterone levels go down as his belly fat increases, and as his testosterone levels go down, his libido decreases. Uh, since we're on the internet, I'd be a little graphic, but basically, when you have your erection, you can do your testosterone test just then. If there's nothing, then you've got very low testosterone. You need to get it up, and we'll talk about ways to do it. But if the Taoists, these are ancient studies of sexology and so forth from other cultures from thousands of years ago. They actually measure your biological age when a man has an erection. Uh, if it's straight up, he's got, like a young 20-year-old, at least the way a young 20-year-old used to be, not today. And then you go down a little bit, and now you're in the 25, 30, go down a little bit. Now you're 30, 40, go down a little bit. You're 50, 60, and even 70 years old, 80 years old. I'm just in the men's locker room. I saw one man probably looked like I'm ready to die, but he had an erection and it went all the way down. So this is your life force. This is your vitality, particularly for men. Estrogen is primary life force. And of course, if you're sexually inactive for a man, you will also have low testosterone, unless you're really working hard and you're using up your testosterone and then taking time to relax. When you relax, it doesn't build. See, Men from Mars is famous for the cave. Now every man's got a cave. All that. I wrote about that back in what was it, the 80s, in a book before Men from Mars even. But I've been teaching it most of my life, teaching men about when you go to work, you take action, and that action kind of exhausts you. It uses up a lot of testosterone if you're facing any stress. So you're challenging yourself, you're overcoming challenges, you're setting goals, you're taking action, you're in service, you're in selflessness. You have discipline that you apply. You don't just complain or whine. All of those things are testosterone boosters for men. So you're using up your testosterone during the day. Then when you come home, you take cave time, which is to relax and do something that's challenging for you, but doesn't have any stressful consequences. For example, if I'm in my work and my livelihood depends upon making money, then if it's not going so well, then my stress level will be much higher. If I'm playing a chess game with my friend, if I lose, so what? So this is challenge. So men typically have always had hobbies. Back when I was growing up, and in the 50s and 60s, if you had a job, you wanted a job, you wrote out your resume, you'd always put your hobbies, because successful men all have hobbies. That's things you do that stimulate testosterone, but they don't produce any stress. And that's downtime. That's hobby time. And it's also relaxation time. And I first learned about that with weightlifters. Is if you overtrain, your testosterone levels go down. If you push yourself, and then you have recovery time. And most weightlifting people understand this, that if you want to build muscle, and that takes testosterone, you've got to have recovery time. You can't just be pushing it all the time. So the idea here, the takeaway is, for men, action and rest. And during the rest, relaxation or hobby time, fun time, you rebuild your testosterone. But if you don't take action, you rest, it doesn't rebuild testosterone. It just goes low. So if you're just retired, you're just sitting around, you don't go out and use up your testosterone, then it slowly declines. And, you see this happening for men when they retire. They're no longer going out and challenging themselves, sometimes doing things that they'd rather not do, but they do it to support their families. That's called selflessness. When you're selfless and a man and you have discipline, you set goals and you follow through, all of those things are the behaviors that stimulate the production of testosterone. Now, at the same time, if you got a big fat belly, you don't produce as much testosterone. If you're not getting enough zinc, you're not going to produce mainly lots of zinc for testosterone production. And pretty much besides the laziness in a lot of men today, the lack of following through, setting goals and following through with their actions, that's one aspect of it. And we see that happening more and more in the youth today.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons for that is to be motivated to set goals and achieve them and take action and so forth. You have to have a certain amount of testosterone. If you have estrogen, and there's a lot of things that produce excess estrogen in men. One of those things is talking a lot about your feelings. We've become this whole feeling thing because it all started because in colleges, they didn't discern the differences between men and women. As a matter of fact, they taught the faulty lie that we're all the same. But as a therapist, I write books on therapy, right? I write all these psychological books. And I know a lot of people who write these books, and they get their information from their life experience. Okay. They're counseling people. Well, 90% of the people in counseling are women. So naturally you get great results if you have a woman in counseling and you get her to talk about her feelings and reflect on what she feels and what else did you feel? And what is it you wish? And what do you want? And what's the belief you're forming there? And then, there's a lot we do as therapists, but to a great extent, it's getting women to talk about their feelings and what's going on inside of them. Because when you do that, it produces estrogen. Now for women, when estrogen goes up, their stress levels go down. For men, when testosterone goes up, their stress levels go down.